We begin with breaking news on the long-running manhunt for Canadian fugitive Ryan Wedding. The alleged drug lord is now in custody in the U.S. Wedding is believed to have been hiding out in Mexico for years. The former Olympic snowboarder is accused of running a transnational drug smuggling ring. Wedding is also alleged to have ordered the murders of several people. Here's FBI Director Kash Patel announcing the capture earlier today.
Today, we are announcing a capture of another FBI's most wanted top 10 fugitive, Ryan Wedding. And just to tell you how bad of a guy Ryan Wedding is, he went from an Olympic snowboarder to the largest narco trafficker in modern times. He is a modern-day El Chapo. He is a modern-day Pablo Escobar.
The CBC's Megan Fitzpatrick leads off our coverage and joins me in the studio. So, Megan, what more can you tell us about Ryan Wedding's arrest?
Well, we know it happened in Mexico City last night. That's according to Kash Patel, who was actually in Mexico City, he says, on a previously planned trip. So he shared some details, but not all, in terms of the circumstances around Ryan Wedding's arrest. Kash Patel said he wouldn't get into those details because he doesn't want to compromise the investigation. But some Mexican officials have been posting on social media today saying that a Canadian citizen voluntarily surrendered yesterday at the U.S. Embassy in Mexico City. So we're trying to get more information, Andrew, about exactly how this arrest came to be, whether Ryan Wedding did turn himself in, if authorities were tipped off to his location, or exactly how it happened. Kash Patel, the FBI director, also not commenting on whether the reward money will be awarded to anyone. There is a $15 million U.S. reward being offered, that had been offered for information leading to Ryan Wedding's arrest. Kash Patel said the arrest was the result of interagency law enforcement efforts. Now, in terms of where Ryan Wedding is now, he is in U.S. custody. We understand he was flown to Ontario, California. That's not too far away from Los Angeles. And Kash Patel saying Wedding will be held in custody over the weekend and make a court appearance on Monday. Now, at this news conference, we heard more about the allegations and the charges against Wedding. Authorities saying he is responsible for a transnational crime network, that he was involved in shipping massive amounts of cocaine through California to other destinations in the United States and Canada. They also accused him of orchestrating multiple murders, they said at the news conference. And they also talked about some of the things they have seized as part of their investigation in recent months, which they nicknamed Operation Giant Slalom, by the way, a nod to Ryan Wedding being a former Olympic snowboarder. They've seized drugs, cash, guns, Mercedes-Benz worth more than $15 million, $40 million worth of motorcycles, jewelry, and artwork. Now, they also indicated that the focus really now changes to the prosecution of Ryan Wedding now that he is in custody. And we heard at this news conference that they said they still have a lot of work to do. He is facing a long list of charges. There are also other people they say are associated with this crime network that are still on the run. They're also offering reward money for those people. But with this arrest, they say this is a significant blow to a criminal network that has endangered many communities. Take a listen.
But it's also a good day for the victims in this case. Ryan Wedding tormented several people and several families that will never be the same. But today, they get the justice that they sought.
So there were representatives of multiple law enforcement agencies at this news conference, including the RCMP, which has been looking for Ryan Wedding since 2015. The RCMP Commissioner Mike Duhem was there for that news conference. Here's some of what he said in a statement issued later. He said, "This is a great day for public safety in Canada. The capture of Ryan Wedding after a years-long investigation, and this most recent achievement demonstrates the importance of international collaboration and the success that can be achieved when law enforcement shares intelligence." Duhem saying at the news conference that Canada is a safer country now with the arrest of Ryan Wedding. As I mentioned, they've been looking for him since 2015. The U.S. started laying charges against Ryan Wedding in 2024. Haven't been able to find him until now. He was on their FBI most wanted list, and they certainly were celebrating at this news conference today now that he is in custody.
Megan, thank you. The CBC's Megan Fitzpatrick. As we heard, much of the police investigation into Ryan Wedding's whereabouts was focused on Mexico, where it's believed he built up his criminal network. The CBC's Jorge Barrera is in Mexico City tracking developments.
Around 9:30 a.m. Eastern, the Office of the Security and Public Protection Secretary Omar Harfouch, his office issued a statement on X and also sent a press release to reporters saying that a Canadian had turned themselves in to the U.S. Embassy yesterday. Now, this information was buried at the bottom of a very long statement that was describing a meeting between Mexican security officials and FBI head Kash Patel also yesterday, the same day that Ryan Wedding is said to have turned himself in at the U.S. Embassy. Now, this morning, the secretary, he's the equivalent of a public safety minister. He's a top civilian security official in Mexico. He was in the Gulf state of Veracruz for a morning press conference with Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum. And this press conference lasted for about an hour and a half. And this news of Ryan Wedding broke during this press conference. But Harfouch made no mention of it, and no journalist asked about the subject. Now, we do know that Mexican authorities had been hot on the trail of Ryan Wedding. On Christmas Eve, they issued a statement and images following raids at several properties connected to Wedding here in Mexico City and the adjacent Mexico state, and they seized about 62 high-end motorbikes. Now we know they were worth around $40 million, artwork, and 2 Olympic medals. But who was involved in this surrender for Wedding that to coincide at the same time that Kash Patel is here? Were Mexican authorities involved with this? U.S. authorities? We're not getting any answers, as we saw from that press conference. But it is an incredible coincidence that Ryan Wedding knocks on the door of the U.S. Embassy at the same time that Kash Patel happens to be visiting the city. Andrew?
And Jorge, while you've been reporting a breaking new detail about this case, a spokesperson for the U.S. Attorney's Office tells CBC News that Ryan Wedding will appear in federal court in Los Angeles on Monday, where he will be required to enter a plea. Now, you traveled to Sinaloa province just last month and spoke to law enforcement and a number of other sources. What did you learn?
So as you heard from this press conference, and as they have said repeatedly, that the U.S. authorities believe that Ryan Wedding was working with the Sinaloa Cartel, international drug-trafficking organization, and also that he was protected by the Sinaloa Cartel. So we traveled to Sinaloa in December to try to find more information about his links to this cartel, and we actually ended up interviewing a member of the cartel who, number one, said he didn't agree or believe or buy what Kash Patel has said about Wedding, that Wedding is the modern day Pablo Escobar and El Chapo, that he believed that he was being inflated for the FBI to look really good whenever they take him down. The cartel operator also said that he doubted very much that the cartel was protecting Wedding at all, because the cartel has been consumed by a civil war for over 16, 17 months. Now, we also spoke with the head of the Mexican National Guard in Sinaloa. He said that Wedding was not on the radar at all. However, we did just obtain some court records from November that show that Ryan Wedding claimed residence in Los Mochis, Sinaloa, and he was trying to get an extradition and arrest warrant tossed that was filed against him here in Mexico City by a court, and a Sinaloan court said they had no jurisdiction to make a ruling on the issue. Andrew?
The CBC's Jorge Barrera in Mexico City.